and Hadar.
What? I haven't met her yet. This is amazing. And Hadar, who was born an hour and a half, his first cousin, an hour and a half before he was. Thank you for coming all the way in from Boston. We want to thank our parents for organizing this whole thing and everything. All four of Josh's grandparents who are here. Special thank you to Grandma Helen for this family heirloom, for the, not the pillow, but the tray that he'll receive his Pidyon Haben on. We want to thank also, well, my grandparents who are here in spirit and looking down on us. We want to thank Rav Simon here. Thank you, Rav Simon, for answering every halachic question that we have and helping us figure out the Pidyon Haben tonight. And of course to Uncle Freddie, who is our Kohen. He was the Kohen for Josh's older brother, for Simeon at his Pidyon Haben, for Adin, our nephew at his Pidyon Haben, and now he'll be also hopefully for Yoshi Botwinick. So thank you everyone for being here.
So there's actually a crazy story that went into us being able to fly in from Israel for this Pidyon Haben. So, well, there's a lot of crazy stories behind this. First of all,
I thought he was going to tell you how they met.
well, this story that I was going to tell. So first of all, there's a lot of complicated factors that go into getting a 2-week-old baby a passport on the spot. So even just first of all, just trying to take the picture. So there's all these rules for a passport picture that have to work, and they're clearly not made for babies, right? Try to get a 2-week-old baby to look straight forward, both of his ears showing, eyes open, looking at the camera. I'm telling you, it must have taken us like 45 minutes of them looking around. He's looking this way, he's looking this way. They're calling like, Yoshi, Yoshi, look this way. And we're like, he doesn't know his name, he doesn't know where his hands are. Like, this is not working. So the final product did end up working out, but it took us a long time to get this, let me tell you. The form for getting the passport also, again, not made for babies. Questions like height. I don't know. I actually took out a tape measure. I measured him. I wrote 1 foot. The question was, are you married? I wrote no, but I wanted to check the box that said, my wife probably isn't born yet. I actually wrote this. One of them was occupation. I wrote baby. It's a full-time job. So of course there have been perks also of going around with this little baby trying to get him onto a plane. So apparently Israelis love babies, especially Israeli security agents apparently love babies. Even this morning, you had seen, so as we were trying to get through security, they're being like super strict. Like, excuse me, take your shoes off. Excuse me, take your phone out. Excuse me, do this. Oh, Mazal Tov, come this way. It's so cute. I'm telling you, when we went through customs, you know, like that huge room where you wait on customs for a really long time. There's all these booths, and they're so serious, and they look at you. So we get into the customs room. We're not even on a line. We're just walking around, and I'm not making this up. One of the customs people in the booth starts waving at us. Like, come to my line. So we like go to the line. She's like, no, to the front. Come to the front. She's like, I love babies. I have 2 children. Let me see him. Okay, great. Stamps our passport. Go right through. So that was fun. But there's another story that I want to tell you that's a little more serious. So one of the various things we had to do in order to get him his passport on time was we had to get our original marriage license. Now here was the problem. We had to get it by the next day, based on when our appointment with the embassy was, and the marriage license was in Riverdale. And this was about 3 weeks ago when there was a huge snowstorm. Remember that? So we posted on Facebook, is anyone coming to Israel by tomorrow? We looked into overnight shipping, but it wasn't going to work out. We spoke to the office, they said it doesn't necessarily work. We actually found some people who were coming to Israel the next day, but one of them, her flight was canceled. One of them, they moved the flight a week earlier, and she ended up getting on that one instead somehow.
Because of the snowstorm.
Another one, my dad, right, because of the snowstorm. Another one, my father offered to drive out to Teaneck to bring it to someone, but he couldn't get there because of the snowstorm. So we didn't know what we were going to do. And we needed it by the next day. Oh, and people were responding things like, because we wrote on Facebook, oh, is anyone coming to Israel tomorrow? We need an important document. And people were writing things like, oh, my son is coming next year after he finishes high school. That's so nice. Thank you. It was like, oh, yeah, we're considering going for the summer. The whole family's going to be taking a vacation this summer. We're like, we literally need it tomorrow. It's coming tomorrow. So that didn't end up working out. But then we started getting all these texts and phone calls and Facebook messages from a friend of ours, Rebecca Abrams, Kessler. And she explained to me, she called me, she said, okay, Josh, my cousins live in West Hempstead. They're coming to Israel tomorrow. Now, my sister, who lives 2 blocks away, is going to be in the city tomorrow. Now, I already spoke to my cousins, I already spoke to my sister, and my sister agreed that if someone can get the license to her in the city by tomorrow, she will bring it home to my cousins, who are then going to take it with them, who are leaving tomorrow, and they'll bring it to you in Yerushalayim. Now, do you have anyone who can get tomorrow to 633 3rd Avenue in the middle of the day? Dad, where do you work?
600.
What avenue?
3rd.
So we gave it to my dad, he gave it to her, and we were able to get it. And I asked Rebecca on the phone, what is going on? Why are you so on top of this? More on top of this than we are, of making sure that we're getting the certificate tomorrow. It was weird. She was so on top of it. And she said, I need to tell you something. She said, the reason why my cousin is going to Israel tomorrow, she said, I don't know, I'm sure you remember, a couple of years ago, there was a boy named Ezra Schwartz who was in Israel for the year, and he was killed right outside of Alon Shvu in a terrorist attack. She said, my cousin was sitting next to Ezra on the bus. She was sitting against the window, and Ezra was tired and wanted to take a nap, and he asked if they could switch seats, and they switched seats. And she said she was with him throughout the entire thing. And she's going to Israel tomorrow because the trial for that terrorist is happening this weekend, and she wants to be there for the trial, so she's going tomorrow. And she said, I felt like it was this divine mission where my cousin is going in because of this life that was taken right outside of Alon Shvut,
Where we're living this year.
And she said, and it was just so meaningful to me that she's now coming with these documents to help register a new baby that was just born in Alon Shvut. She said, I just had to make sure that happened. And it worked out, and she brought it, and that's how we ended up getting it.
It's spelled like Kim.
Yeah.
So we spoke a lot at Yoshiao Reuven's bris about 3 people that he's named after, all of whom their lives were tragically cut short. So I think Ezra Schwartz, his name and his legacy, while we didn't know him, that can also be a name that Yoshiao can keep in mind. And again, we spoke extensively at the bris about his name, but I just need to mention, so Yoshiyahu is named after my foster brother, Yosef. He came to us when he was 8 years old. Here's a picture of him. Actually, it's hanging above our piano at our house. Always get emotional, sorry. So we're really lucky tonight because he stayed with us for 2 years. His parents, who adopted him, are also able to be here. Thank you so much, Peter and Leah, for coming in. This year, he would have been 31 years old. And something that's just really crazy is that Yoshiyahu HaMelech, who we named Yoshiyahu after, thank God, just his father's name is Yosef, and my grandfather is also Yosef, his cousin's named after him. We named him Yoshiyahu. There's some insane textual parallels between my foster brother's story and Yoshiyahu HaMelech's story. Yoshiyahu HaMelech also came to the throne when he was 8 years old. He was killed in the 31st year of his reign. And there's so much more to it, but separately from that, I think that Yosef and Yoshiyahu, they tell a story of a boy who, of a boy who grew up in a home filled with corruption. Yoshiyahu, obviously Yosef grew up in an abusive home, but Yoshiyahu HaMelech, also his grandfather is Menashe, the most evil, corrupt, immoral king that Israel had ever seen. And yet, at the age of 8, they decided to choose good, they decided to choose to see the good in others. They decided to love and not to hate. And they each followed their own path to discover God. So, Yoshi, over here, we hope that he can continue that journey and live the life that Yosef, that Yoshiyahu, that they weren't able to live.
Amen.
Sorry.
So let's talk for a second about the Pidyon Haben. So let me ask, I'm just curious, How many people is this their first Pidyon Haben that they've ever been to? Okay. How many people is it your second Pidyon Haben? Okay. Anyone for their third Pidyon Haben?
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Keep
4.
going.
I'm curious to keep going. 5, 6, 7. Okay, 6. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good. So, for most of us, we really haven't been to a lot of them, and it was actually interesting because of a lot of the questions we had, like, oh, what exactly do we do with the garlic and the sugar? So we're like, I don't know. None of us have ever been to one, so who knows? But a lot of people have also been asking us, can you just remind us what a Pidyon Haben is? Where does it come from? What's the point of it? What are we supposed to remember? And the truth is, don't be embarrassed at that question, because the Pasuk, the Torah, wants you to ask that question. I'll prove it to you. So the Psukim say, at the end of Parshat Bo, as you see on Mitzrayim is happening, so the Torah says, God says, Kadesh li kol bechor, that you should sanctify every bechor. Right after this was after Makat Bechorot happens. So he says, sanctify all the bechorot. Na'avarta kol petarechem la'Hashem, that you should give every firstborn to God. V'chol bechor adam b'vanecha tifteh. And then every firstborn that are people, you should then redeem afterwards. And then the pasuk says, it continues, V'haya ki yishalcha bincha machar lemor mazot. When your children ask you when you're doing this, what are you doing? V'amartai elav, and you should say to them, B'chozik yad hotzianu Hashem mitzrayim mibeit avadina, with a strong hand, God took us out of Egypt, etc. Al kenan nizaveach l'Hashem, and therefore I am consecrating the firstborn to God because of what happened in Mitzrayim. So it's good that you ask, because you're supposed to ask, and we're here to share what it's for.
So, Farshim will discuss these psukim a lot. But the truth is, when I was doing my learning for this Pidyon event, I also had like a million questions. When Josh came home, I was just like, to tell you the truth, I have no idea what we're going to be doing next week. But some of my basic questions, the main ones I'd say are as follows. Number 1, why was it such a big deal that the Bechorim of the Jewish people were saved? As if, like, was there any expectation that at Makat Bechorot he was also going to kill the firstborn sons of the Jewish people? Secondly, what am I redeeming him from exactly? To be kadosh to Hashem? Don't I want that? Don't I want him to be an Eved Hashem? Why is it? What's the problem over here? Maybe I don't want to redeem him. What is that other life that he'd be living if I didn't redeem him today? And finally, just the concept of a Bechor in general throughout Tanakh, I think is something that is just confusing, right? Even just from Esav and Yaakov, what is it exactly that Esav was so mad about that Yaakov took? And just this like motif throughout all of Tanakh of a Bechor, like B'ni Bechori Yisrael throughout the story of Pesach. What does it mean that Am Yisrael are God's Bechor? And just understanding exactly what this means, that he's our Bechor.
So the Mefarshim pick apart all these questions and they try to tease out exactly what's going on in these psukim.
We won't go through answers now.
But we do want to share one idea that Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch offers. He says that all the mitzvot of Pesach are trying to get across the idea that the family is a special unit. We're creating here a new nation, we're creating Am Yisrael, and the idea of the mitzvot of Pesach is that it starts with the family. So he says, for example, that the Korban Pesach was brought as a family. It was Sela Beit Avot, Sela Bayit. Every family unit was supposed to bring their own Korban Pesach. And he says, so too, this idea of consecrating, making Kadosh, the Bechor of the oldest member of every family. So he says, just like for Bikurim, that you take the first fruits and you give them to God, and by doing that, it changes your mindset about all the fruits that you eat, because you gave the first ones, you did something special with the first ones. He says, so too, Psukim are trying to make us think that way about our family also. That by taking the first one, the oldest one, and making them Kadosh, and doing something special, it changes your mindset about the family. It makes you realize that there's something special going on here with the entire family. But still, though, he asks, but why are they first made Kadosh, and then we're told to redeem them? If we're making them holy, so great, let's make them holy. So he says, but that's the point. It's true, every Bechor we are trying to make holy. But he says, you know where the best impact that they can have, the most important holy work that they can do, is to stay with the family. So he says, we make them holy, and then immediately we redeem them, and we stay good. Now stay with your family, be a Bechor, be the oldest, be holy, and be a good influence for your entire family unit.
So, Yoshiahu Reuven, the Reuven part, he's named after the last male member of my extended family from the Holocaust to be named after, who was murdered in the Holocaust. He is a fourth-generation Holocaust survivor. But his biblical namesake is Reuven from the Torah, Reuven our Bechor, the Bechor of Am Yisrael, the first Bechor to not be rejected. That just becomes part of all 12 tribes that end up becoming Am Yisrael. And, you know, Reuven, throughout Tanakh, he wasn't always successful. But what I think is important is that his heart was always in the right place. He wanted to. He wanted to save Yosef. He wanted to defend his mother's honor. He wanted to save Binyamin. He wanted, you know, even throughout Sefer Shoftim and beyond the Tanakh, he steps up to be the leader when Am Yisrael needs him. And he recognizes his role as the Bechor of his family in that way. So, of course, for Yoshiyahu over here, he'll be the Bechor of our family. He will hopefully be role models, Bezrat Hashem, to future members of our family. He'll be the leader of them, and he'll be the one taking on that responsibility.
So, Yoshiyahu Reuven, as our Bechor, yes, we are dedicating you to God, making you Kadosh. But don't worry, we're going to buy you back. Because we do want you to be a part of our family. And we want you to be a good influence for the rest of our family. And that's a lot of responsibility for your cute little shoulders.
So thank you everyone for coming.
Okay, the time is now 8:49.